So Dan from Street Fighter Alpha has quietly arrived from Storm Arena, and honestly this one quite surprised me because I wasn't expecting it to come out so soon, straight after Sagat which just came out in January. But is that because he's pretty much a reuse of the Ken and Ryo mode, and does that make him less worthy of a figure or less interesting of a figure? No, not really. He's just as fun, just as articulated as both Ryo and Ken. And he is, if you're collecting the Street Fighter Alpha line, then obviously he is a worthwhile addition. Dan from Street Fighter Alpha line, which sits in the same price range as the rest of the series that's come out so far, around about the £27 to £30 range. And for that price, there's actually quite a lot going on. For anyone unfamiliar with the character Dan, first appeared in Street Fighter Alpha and was essentially created as a parody character. He's loud, arrogant, completely overconfident, despite not actually being that strong compared to the characters like Ryu and Ken. But that exaggerated personality is exactly what makes him such a fun addition to the roster. And honestly, it translates really well into figure form. Out of the box, Dan immediately felt familiar. That's because the figure reuses the same body mold as the Storm Arena Ryu and Ken figures, but to be fair, it's a mold that works. The proportions look great, articulation is solid, and the figure holds poses really well. Within a few minutes, I was already experimenting with different poses and angles, which is always a good sign. In the box, you get 2 interchangeable head sculpts, 3 pairs of interchangeable hands, the firewall effect, and a display stand. The extra pair of hands is a nice touch since most figures in this line only come with 2 sets. The fireball effect also has a sculpted hand inside it, which actually looks really good. In action poses, interestingly, the fireball can be separated from the hand as well, giving you a bit more flexibility with how you use it. One of the things Storm Arena does really well across this line is the texture on the gi. Dan's pink gi has a subtle fabric texture sculpted into it, which helps a lot when photographing the figure under lighting. It stops the surface from looking flat and gives the figure a bit more depth on camera. Paint applications are clean, and overall the sculpt feels consistent with the rest of the line. Articulation is exactly what you'd expect if you've handled the Ryo and Ken figures before. You get butterfly shoulders, double jointed elbows and knees, waist movement, good ankle pivot. So posing is straightforward and expressive. And honestly, this is where the figure shines. Dan works really well for dynamic poses, taunts, mid-action shots as well. For toy photography, Dan is actually a great addition to the lineup. The pink gi adds some visual variety compared to the white and red from Ken and Ryo figures, and under the different lighting it really stands out. If you enjoy posing your figures for photos instead of just leaving them on the shelf, this one is definitely fun to work with. If I had one small complaint, it will be the head sculpts. Dan is such an over-the-top comedy character that it would have been great to see one really exaggerated or goofy expression included. 2 heads are fine, but a third would have pushed this figure even further. Overall, Dan from Street Fighter Alpha is a really solid figure. It poses well, it looks great in photos, and adds some personality to the Street Fighter display. If you're already collecting this line, he's definitely worth picking up, and if you enjoy toy photography, he might actually surprise you. Let me know what you think of this figure in the comments, and if you want to see more toy photography and action figure reviews like this, feel free to subscribe. You can also check out the full written review over on my blog, The Toy Collection. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.